You might think it funny, you might think it strange, but she's the queen of the USA. She's the queen of the USA.
How's it going? Hopefully all is well with you and yours. I am working on making some homemade bread and also some pizza dough for some homemade pizza tonight. I got this Vegan Basics recipe book, and I just wanted to say how awesome this little stand is for the book. Really awesome idea to add that. Anyways, so in a glass over here, this is for the pizza dough, I have 1 cup of warm water, 1 tablespoon of agave, and 1 package of yeast, basically getting foamy over here. And in another bowl, I'm going to combine 2 1/4 cup of flour and 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt. This book says to use 1 cup of a whole wheat flour and about 3/4 cup each of rice flour and spelt or oat flour. I don't have any of that, so I'm just going to use a regular all-purpose flour and hope that it comes out okay. Alright, so I have mixed my flour and salt. My yeast is pretty foamy, so I'm going to go ahead and add it into the mix with this flour and salt. Alright, so I need the flour, adding more flour as needed so that the dough will not stick. Alright, so I have kneaded my dough and created a little dough ball. Again, this is the pizza dough. So I'm going to cover this and let it rise in a warm place until it has doubled in volume, about 45 to 60 minutes. It's too bad I don't have any tea towels. I'm also going to be making a vegan bread. So I'm going to take 3 cups of flour, 1 cup of warm water, 1 packet of active dry yeast, 2 tablespoons of agave, 2 tablespoons of unrefined coconut oil or vegan butter, and 1.5 teaspoons of salt. So we're going to need all of those ingredients for about 10 minutes and add water a tablespoon at a time if the dough seems a little too dry. So here is my vegan bread. I'm going to cover this and let it rise for about 45 to 60 minutes and see how it goes. My grandma used to bake bread all the time growing up, and when it was raising, I would go and get little pieces of it and try it. Yum! This is gonna be some good bread. So the last time that I cooked bread here, I kind of made a large loaf that was really more thin. And so this time I wanted to not only try a different recipe, but I wanted to make it into little rolls instead of one big piece. So these are my rolls. Da, da, da. And oh my gosh, they actually smell just like my grandma's bread. I kind of want to try one, but I mean, I guess I should try a little bit of this at least. I don't want to ruin my dinner. So. This is tastes a lot better than the last time that I made bread, and I think this is probably the recipe that I'll use again in the future. Yay! So now it is time for the big reveal. Unfortunately, I tried to make some cashew mozzarella cheese and it didn't turn out as I wanted it to. It's very runny and, well, you probably couldn't even see that. The cheese is very runny and yeah, maybe if I put it in the refrigerator then it would have worked, but it didn't work this time. I also put my raw vegan cheese recipe on this, and this recipe is a crowd favorite. So you should definitely try it out. And I also used some of the raw vegan, or, well, I guess it is raw vegan, that cheese blend that I made last week is this. I just added some water until it was kind of like thicker like this, and then I put it in little blobs, as you can kind of see. I actually also made this sauce. I bought some tomatoes earlier because I wanted to collect the seeds, and so now I have this watery mess of seeds. It's really gross. I do not like tomatoes. It's kind of really funny. The smell of raw tomatoes or the taste, I have nothing to do with that. The smell even smells bad. Even the tomato just like, I don't know. But if you make it into a sauce, like I love ketchup. I really like ketchup. And pasta sauce, pizza sauces, anything like that. I love those as well, but I really dislike tomatoes, so it's really funny. Uh, anyways, so this is my creation, and I'm pretty impressed with it. I hope that it tastes good. I feel like there's going to be a lot of leftovers because my stomach's already like, see, yeah, it's like a fight because I know that I should be raw vegan, and it's like I have cucumbers cut right here and on my plate as well, and having a giant salad and not this would be a lot healthier for me, but I don't know, especially when crap hits the fan, and oh, I'm trying to perfect this recipe before then so that I can feed my family and they can be satisfied. I'm really concerned with that and making it the best possible situation for us to survive in and doing as much as I can to prepare for it. There's only so much that I can do, but I don't know, it's kind of like whether you believe the Bible is true or not, the story of Noah and the ark, and knowing that something really, really bad is about to happen, and trying to warn people, and trying to get your family on the boat and make sure that your family is taken care of and survives. So, yeah, I want to try, like, I know what is coming, and I'm trying to prepare to make it as easy as possible, especially by the time that my family gets here from where they are coming. With the way that things are headed, it might be a fight for them to get here. So it's like once they finally get here, I would love to have a box just for like one meal for when they get here, and be able to cook, like, bake cakes and just have an actual feast and a celebration. It's like you made it, and you're safe now, and we're together again, and uh, now we can survive together. Survival is not guaranteed. My survival is not guaranteed. I had the death trump card coming, drawn in my tarot reading when I asked about what I should be prepared for the coming year. So, being mentally prepared for death and anything, really. I can't imagine. My pizza. Ooh, my pizza's getting a little bit cold, so I'm gonna put it back in the or in the oven while I talk. Ow! Okay. What I was going to say is I've been doing a lot of research about the Spanish flu, and I put a video out about it last week, but I'm still intrigued by the subject, and just hearing some of the horror stories and trying to think of how it would feel to be alive during that time. How would I feel if I had a child and, my child was starving, or um, how would I feel as a child if I'm seeing everyone around me getting sick and so many people dying, and they talk about the children that were made into orphans during the Spanish flu, and how people would not want to feed them or get anywhere near them because they were afraid that they were carrying the virus. So, yeah, that had to be a really hard time to have children or to be a child. So, yeah. I'm thankful that I'm in the position that I am in, and that I don't have children, and that I'm not a child, and that I don't know, when I first started to wake up and actually read Revelation and find out that the pre-trib rapture isn't real, and it's not, you're not going to leave before, well, it's not real in the sense that we are told, I guess I should clarify. Um, But at that point in time, I was like, I don't want to be raptured out. If anything, I want to stay here and fight. It talks about how the end times is Satan's final battle and stand against the saints, and he goes through the earth and tries to kill many of them, and well, at this time I was in the Jesus cult, and they basically program you to want to go to heaven. This world isn't your home. Heaven's so much better. When you die, you get to go up with Jesus. And in Revelation, it talks about, well, basically the people that stay during the tribulation and are beheaded for their witness, the people that are martyred for their belief in God. Well, at the time it was belief in Jesus. Uh, Basically, yeah, this whole martyr idea is promoted, and if you are beheaded and killed for your beliefs during this time, then you get to basically come back and rule over the new Jerusalem with Jesus, basically. So it's like, yeah, that's And why wouldn't I rather have, I don't know, it's like if I stay here and get to, go around and fight against the system and be a rebel and actually die as a warrior, that's way better than just getting poofed out when right before all the action starts to happen. Like, I don't know. I guess looking back, the monotony of everyday life, I guess I can say that generations to come will, be jealous of that, even just with what's already happened with this COVID-19. If you can imagine being a child right now, you've been going to school, and then all of a sudden, it's like now we're having an extended break. Some kids might not know what's going on yet, and yeah, it hasn't fully hit America yet, and especially with them installing 5G towers. And there's a lot of talk and videos going around about them using this coronavirus shutdown to go to different schools and install 5G technology and towers that may have otherwise been opposed if people were out and about. And speaking of that, I just watched well, I guess I listened to, it's an audio recording of David Goldberg, I believe is the name, and they talk about how there are government documents, people like me that go online and look up the truth. If you look up different conspiracies and follow different conspiracy channels, the powers that be know who you are, and unfortunately, if you're a real human and you are watching this, we are their targets, and especially if you go against anything that they are planning for their new world order. There are some humans that are fluoridated and will trust the plan even when the plan is to get on the train and go to work camps and whatever Don Trump's plan is, their New World Order plan. Don Trump is their leader right now. I mean, not their leader as in the mastermind or anything, but the Pied Piper, the puppet leader that's leading the sheeple to their slaughter. It's actually quite frustrating because, well, I live in Northern California at the base of Mount Shasta, and well, I guess I should say California has a bad reputation, and it's actually really funny. Let me check my pizza. Well, let me finish this, because I remember in high school saying California is the last place I will ever go. I was raised very conservative, and the whole negative outlook on California is what my whole family, even until recently, has had. Um, I say until recently because I told my mom about the state of Jefferson and this movement that has been trying to get off the ground for quite some time now. Obviously, the powers that be don't want it to. So in Southern California is mainly where all of the liberal madness is going on. And in Northern California, where I am, there are a very large amount of people that are, gun-toting, constitutional conservatives. And I know that it's the whole Hegelian dialectic thing. There are things on both sides that are right and things on both sides that are wrong. So the whole system is based on this Hegelian dialectic type thing to try to steer the population and lead us towards their new world order. This is their plan. Their plan has been in place for a very long time. I don't know about you, but I do not trust their plan at all. It's very sad to think what they have in store for the real humans and how much it is going to impact us. So, yeah, the Georgia Guidestones talk about depopulation and, well, the anniversary for the Georgia Guidestones. 40-year anniversary is tomorrow on 3/22, technically starting at midnight. And a little while earlier, before this was pointed out to me, there was a warning put out that the purge started at midnight. So, hopefully that allegation is not true by the time that you see this video. Obviously, we will have more information on it. But they like to use different numbers and symbols and whatever. And that's, if you get the fact that they are, like, using magic, then you can, like, okay, that makes sense that they're using a lot of these numbers. They have occult meanings. The hand symbol here behind me and the all-seeing eye, the Inanna sigil and her name going around it, and even the dove over here, they all have different magical, symbolical meanings, and depending on the person that you ask or their intent, the answer or for what the meaning of that is will obviously be different. If you're asking someone with a nefarious agenda, what, maybe the eye is for, they might be using the evil eye or whatever the inversion is of the eye of providence, which is what mine is standing for. I have, my whole awakening has been spiritually leaning. I've always known that we are spiritual, that we have a creator. It is absolutely ridiculous in my mind to think that people are convinced that they have evolved from anything over time. It's just like, I kind of can get maybe some occultic meanings in the overall idea, but as far as physically, no, like, humans are not evolved monkeys or pond scum, and we certainly do not live on a giant spinning ball. So, the spiritual connection for me has always been very real. I've always known that we are a creator, and to me, the all-seeing eye is just that. It's the eye that sees all things, and the eye of providence, and that, to me, is representing our creator. And this world does not seem like a good place. A lot of people want to leave and go to heaven or whatever, anywhere else. Some people would rather go anywhere else but here. But, and a lot of them blame the creator. And the thing is that they lack understanding, lack comprehension, whatever word you want to use. We manifest our reality. So, for a long time, obviously, most of us have been fluoridated zombies and not knowing what is going on in our reality, and this awakening, we've had to unlearn and relearn everything. For a long time, we haven't been paying attention, let alone actively knowing that we have the power to manifest our reality, and us coming together and manifesting a golden age of peace, prosperity, and the protection of innocence is very possible, and that is why they are afraid of us. So, back to what I was saying earlier about this area that I'm in and all of the gun-toting patriots. It's interesting that they have Donald Trump now as this patriot leader playing the role of, and Q and this whole psyop with them working together so that those who would normally stand up and fight for their rights and say, I would rather die on my feet than live on my knees. These people in general, a lot of them, for the most part, the majority of them have been completely pacified by this. They are sitting back and trusting the plan. They don't have to worry about it because Donald Trump is sent by God and she has a... Oh, did someone just say she? Yeah. Donald Trump was chosen by the god of this world, Satan, groomed her whole life to play this role, and I still have a hard time comprehending how any flat earther who knows that presidents are selected and like knows the truth of our reality, that everything is controlled and backwards, how do you support Donald Trump? Like, not only does this entity not have a penis, like seriously, is anybody still trusting this entity after they find out that they don't have a penis? Okay, it's a girl pretending to be a boy. It's a clown. Anyways, Donald Trump has been bailed out of debt by the Rothschild.
Well, another thing that happened to Trump in the late 80s around this time is that the New York real estate market collapsed. Huge losses. And Trump was facing the very real likelihood of losing everything, including the 3 Atlantic City casinos that he owned. He was going to lose everything. He needed financial backing fast to keep this thing from not just RI, but Trump's real estate investments. His empire that he had built was coming down around him. So where did this money come from to back to back Trump? Well, it came from a company called Rothschild Incorporated, Rothschild Inc. It's a multinational investment banking company. It's based in the UK. It was started by Nathan Rothschild, who was the son of the founder of the whole Rothschild dynasty, Meyer Amschel Rothschild. Well, it was the Rothschilds themselves who bailed out Donald Trump. They kept him from financial ruin. Again, publicly verifiable information. One place you can look to confirm this is Bloomberg News, March 23rd, 1992. The name of the article is Donald Trump's card.
And if you know anything about this, they're not just going to bail Donald Trump out for no reason, okay? There are always strings attached with them. And when you bail someone out of debt, they owe you. So not only that, not only was Dawn born a female, groomed her whole life for this, bought out of debt, appeared in The Simpsons being the president way beforehand.
As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump. How bad is it, Secretary Van Houten?
We're broke.
The country is broke? How can that be?
And all this other programming, it's like, wow, how can you guys not see the huge pile of evidence that shows you that Donald Trump is completely controlled? You have to have blinders on your eyes to fall for it, really. But at the same time, I get that humans want a hero. They want to believe in Trump because they want it to be real. They want someone to come in and save the day and take down the cabal and put all the pedos in jail and all this stuff. And yeah, that is a great thing. Let's do that. But one of them isn't going to do it. Do you think that Trump is really going around arresting her friends? How do you people think that this is going down? They're all friends, they're all working together, and they're all working together against humanity. Wake up! There have been posts recently to my coven. Well, there's constantly posts, updates about the troops and National Guard moving throughout the country to different locations and, yeah, getting ready for a lockdown during a time of civil unrest. The powers that be can use any of those that sign up to fight for them as they want. I'd like to be as kind as possible because I know, unfortunately, that they have been sold a false narrative. And much like me, they grew up in being indoctrinated to think that we have the best country and that we should support the president's wars and, you know, going to war to die for your country is really admirable, and I do still agree with a lot of those things. I do think, I would say it with a more broad thing, though. It's like, it's not that I'm doing all of this particularly just for my country. I want to make the world a better place. I'm not into fighting my country versus other countries anymore. I'm into, okay, where are the patriots in every country? Let's all talk and let's all overthrow the governments that are working against us. Because I think that the humans deserve to be free. Is that such a bad thing? Humans deserve to be free, but also humans using their freedom, it's not right for them to use their freedom to enslave others, to enslave the cows that are next to me, for instance. We don't have, if you enslave them, then why shouldn't you be enslaved? And they are innocent and they speak a different language than us. Most of us are not able to understand the language of other species. If you have a dog or a cat, you can confirm that they are sentient beings and they have a way to communicate with you that is their own. They don't speak to you like I'm speaking to you, but they have their own way of talking to you. So it's the same with the cows and the pig and the sheep and the chicken, all of the other animals. And they want to be free too. They want to enjoy a golden age where they're not worried about anyone coming and stealing their children or other species consuming their corpses. When crap hits the fan, some humans will become cannibalistic, and especially mainly in the big cities, and the so-called elites show us this spirit cooking and eating human flesh a lot to desensitize us to it. They do this already, a lot of them. I'm not saying every single one, but a lot of them do this, and they try to get other real humans to do it. A lot of the programming that you see on your television and news articles and a lot of stuff is faked, and especially the most bizarre stuff, you're like, wow, people actually do that. It's like, trust your gut. It's like more, holy crap. Alright. Trust your gut. It's more than likely that that is an inverto, and it is a completely fabricated scenario, and they're just trying to influence real humans to get to do it. Like, the first person that ate a Tide Pod, like, maybe it was a real baby, okay? Like, a baby might be crawling on the floor, and you dropped one, and the baby put it in its mouth. Like, that might have been a real human that ate the first Tide Pod. But other than that, okay, the first person to go on a video and make it viral and do this ridiculous stuff is an inverto, okay? And Satan uses them to get real humans to do stupid things, and then they laugh at humans, and then they say, ha ha ha, look at humans, humans are so dumb. And some of those in the spiritual realm also use this to, you know, go to our creator essentially and say, wow, look at how dumb humans are. You made that. And just making him feel crappy about his creation, and I have a problem with it. I want humans to make our creator proud, because we can do better and we should expect better. We are being deliberately dumbed down by the uneducational system, and those in charge want it that way. They want useful slaves that are fluoridated zombies, dumbed down, don't even know that they live on a stationary plane. These slaves are so dumb that they think that they live on a giant spinning ball. And then they laugh. And then the slaves say, oh, well, we want to be free and we deserve freedom. And then the overlords are like, you idiots don't even know where you live. And a lot of you think that you evolved from monkeys or something stupid. So, wow. Step back, children. You don't even know which end is up. So, you're definitely not going to be getting any freedoms from us anytime soon. We're just going to keep playing you. That's what they're doing. And they're putting on a puppet show and controlling us with their, you know, having Barry Obama that was supposedly very left and anti-America with, you know, Muslim type energies, all this and stuff that they were trying to push with that. And then comes in Don Trump with this, make America great again, let's build a wall and keep out everybody. Like, yeah, especially because I was under that programming and my family's very conservative, and I still have a lot of these same values. So this idea and the whole thing, it was like, yeah, I even knew that I was awake to the fact that presidents are selected and groomed and, you know, puppets, and I was still like, I really like what this character is saying. It's like, this is actually my favorite president of all, because they say all the right things. And I'm saying they because it's a she. Yeah. All of the presidents have been girls, and the first laddies are boys. So, trusting any of them is crazy. I don't know how any truther does it. But anyways, my pizza is definitely ready for me to be eaten. So let's move on to a different subject. Mm. Well, that's what it looks like. Smells good. I'm happy with this pizza crust. I don't know, I'm gonna have to take some more bites of this before I decide whether or not I like the cheeses or not. So that. Next time I'm gonna use more sauce, that's for sure. I was trying to make it more thin. I guess I'm always gonna have the rising issue. It's not really an issue. It's what you want to happen when you put yeast into flour and agave. So, yeah, this pizza dough recipe is much better than the last one that I used, so I'll probably use this one again. Anyways, I'm gonna eat some more of this, and then I will report back to you probably tomorrow and let you know my final thoughts about it. So, that bread that I made yesterday ended up being so good. I am doubling the recipe and kneading some dough as we speak. You can actually add magical intent into your everyday cooking and baking. Like, I'm making bread, and bread is often related to sustenance, and it can be related to prosperity. Really, Magicka is all about your intent, so whatever you relate an object to, you can use it like that. There are different charts and stuff online giving magical correspondences with different colors and elements and different things like that. But you can always change it and go off of your own intent, because that is what matters at the end of the day when it comes to Magicka. If you look at magical spells online and you don't have any of the objects they are saying to use, you can always substitute them for different objects, use something different, leave it out, whatever. Change any of the spells to fit whatever you are doing. So anyways, what I was saying is that basically you can set your intent and add different energy into your food. You can have the intent that it is very filling and provides your family with their nutritional needs and just a lot of different things, actually. You can bake a cake for prosperity or friendship or something and give it to someone that you're trying to be friends with, and stirring different energies into your food. Even your, like, if you drink coffee in the morning and you put sugar and cream in there, you can stir in your magical intent to put that energy into your cup. Maybe you want to be more creative or productive or anything like that. So Magicka can be used for everyday, pretty much everything that you do, you could add magical intent to. When you're brushing your teeth, you can have the energy going in to heal your teeth, to whiten your teeth, to strengthen them. When you're brushing your hair, you can have the magical intent that it's going to grow longer, or anything that you want. So yeah, the possibilities are endless. The pizza that I made last night was amazing. Since I actually ended up with so much sauce left over, I think I'm going to make another pizza tonight and try to do it a little bit differently and see how it comes out. But yeah, I actually ate a lot of the pizza because it was really good. So yeah. Alright, I'll let the bread rise for a little while. Obviously, you can see that my hair has been straightened. Well, it was straight. I used to straighten my hair all the time, and then I realized that it was not good for my antennas. And plus, growing up, I always really wanted curly hair. So now that I get curly hair naturally, it's exciting to me. But sometimes it is good to straighten it when, well, different occasions, different reasons. Anyways, I was wearing this shirt the one day at the library. And I came out of the bathroom and this little girl's like, "Oh my God, I love your shirt." Like, thanks. That was cute. I'm gonna go and wash my hands, and I will be right back. So, speaking of the library, a few weeks ago when I went there, I was sitting there with my headphones in, actively engaging with people on the computer, and someone came up and was just standing in my space. And I was busy, so I just kind of expected them to go away, but they didn't. So I took my headphone out, and I was, can I help you with something? And they were asking me if I could help them put music on their phone. Like, I'm literally in the middle of doing something. I don't know who you are. I'm not the Geek Squad or technical support. And nothing about this situation makes me look like I want to interact with anybody at all. I have headphones in. I'm sitting at a desk by myself, staring at a computer, typing away, and yeah, so then, like maybe, well, this wasn't last week, but it was the week before. I was sitting there at the same table that I always sit at, and then someone came and sat beside me and stayed there for hours. I like my personal space, so I don't really like people being so close to me. And last week when I went in, they were practicing social distancing, so there aren't even chairs near each other. And honestly, I was really happy because I'm like, yay, I get to sit in my little bubble here and not worry about anybody bothering me or sitting next to me. So it's not all bad. The library, on a serious note, I'm pretty sure they are closed now, and most places are closed. I usually only go to the grocery store anyways, but grocery outlet is limiting the number of paper products that you can buy, and yeah, I've had reports of National Guard moving in, and I actually just recently, there are 2 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in my county. Who knows how many real cases there are. But this note here also is from Reading, which is an hour south of me, and the biggest city close to me. So apparently these papers are being given out to Walmart workers that say that their job is important, and they're being told that the National Guard is coming in to help with the situation, and they need to carry these papers with them at all times so that in case they get stopped, they can give these papers to whomever stopped them. This whole lockdown situation obviously has multiple reasons. We can, try to eliminate the spread of disease by distancing ourselves and staying away from each other. But obviously, they are using this chaos to bring about their new world order. They created the chaos. They created the virus. All viruses are man-made. They created the virus and released it. This specific virus is acting as a physical vessel for pestilence to travel across Mother Earth and depopulate Mother Earth. So there is this interesting spiritual aspect with it, and how viruses aren't made the same way that God's creation is made. They aren't naturally occurring because they're all man-made. They don't follow the same genetic structure that God's building blocks do, which is DNA makes RNA makes protein. If you study viruses, you will find that they are RNA. RNA makes protein, and there is a lot of misinformation going around saying that viruses don't even exist. If you had gone into the genetic engineering field and gone into a lab, it would have been standard practice for you to work with viruses, to look at their programming, to even create them yourself. So the people that are saying viruses don't exist, obviously the shills, the original people who are saying it, are satanic deceivers. But the people that are jumping on the bandwagon and pushing it through the truther community obviously just have no experience with, if they were genetic engineers, they would know that viruses are very real. They're trying to blame this outbreak on anything but a virus. Oh, it's not a virus, it's 5G. By the way, viruses don't even exist. So, they want to have someone standing there with all these people around them being infected by a disease, a virus, and then have that one person say, haha, viruses don't exist. It's like, literally all these people around you are sick. And obviously the 5G technology is harmful for humans and can imitate a lot of the same symptoms as the flu. So it is a very convincing cover-up, and lots of places are using the quarantine to install 5G towers that would have previously, people would have protested and fought back. Oh, they're not even hearing about it. They don't know about it. All of a sudden, a tower's just on top of their school building, and how many of them won't even notice? So, yeah. I think that there was some sort of article talking about during the time of the Spanish flu how there was technology that imitated 5G and was helping the spread of pestilence and causing a lot of issues. They say that COVID-19 basically attacks the elderly and those with underlying issues. Well, if they put 5G towers everywhere, they're going to start causing problems for the general public. So then the general population will have underlying issues because they are being attacked by the 5G. It's a multi-dimensional attack. It's not just one thing, it's a lot of things. And this whole thing was set up. It is a perfectly orchestrated setup. The powers that be, ultimately controlled by the Great Deceiver, the Great Deceiver knows the cycles of the mother, knows that every 100 years pestilence rides again, and everything was set up to collapse at this time. The financial situation has been getting worse and worse. The national debt for America, at least, is just completely ridiculous. And yeah, I know that they print the money themselves and all of that, but just the whole concept of it having, we already have a bunch of national debt, and they're talking about basically injecting more money into the system, which will create even more debt. So I think that someone was saying that they were talking about putting $1 trillion in a day. In 21 days, that I'm pretty sure the national debt is, let's see, just to double check my numbers here. Alright, this says in February of 2020, the public debt was around $23.4 trillion. If it'll load faster. 23.4 trillion US dollars. So if they are injecting $1 trillion a day in 23 days, that national debt is doubled. Which is not going to do anything good for the economy, and I completely get the bigger picture. It's not supposed to help the economy in the long run. The powers that be aren't here to help you and me. They are marching towards their new world order and working against humanity in general. They will do things that look like they are trying to help us just so that they can gain power over us or try to gain people's trust or anything. Like the idea of causing chaos and then having your own people come in as the saviors and say, oh, well, we're here to help you and save you from the chaos and fix everything. It's like, you guys caused this in the first place. So yeah, they do a lot of that, and it's kind of funny for the spiritual world to see, obviously, but that is what they are doing, and Donald Trump is one of them. So no matter what it looks like on the surface, please don't trust any puppet president. I don't know why anybody would want to trust these deceivers and any puppet politician. It's like politician has become synonymous with liar. Isn't there a joke that says, how do you know if a politician is lying if they're moving their mouth? Like, so yeah, and the whole system actually isn't based off of integrity or truth or righteousness or justice whatsoever. It needs to be finished. I don't know what word I was gonna say, but we need to take out the people that are doing Satan's bidding and create a world that is based off of real justice and truth, and having like a judicial system and even police, well, I prefer to say the Queensmen, to actually serve and protect and promote the general welfare and to help people. That's a great idea. We need that. We need structure to have a functioning society. I am very anti-anarchy. Anarchy doesn't come with structure and, most importantly, the protection of innocence. When the centralized government crumbles to anarchy, local drug dealers and warlords and gangsters take over their areas and become the government. It doesn't stay anarchy for very long, and yeah, we have the opportunity to basically use the chaos that they are creating to establish something great. I'm here at the base of Mount Shasta, trying to work towards creating the state of Jefferson and making the meeting place of heaven and earth something truly spectacular, where we see peace and prosperity and the protection of innocence. I know very much that it is very possible, and in your soul you know that it is possible too, because we have done this before. This isn't our first time coming into this reality, and many of us come here because we like to do this. We like to come during the time when the truth is starting to come to light, and there's this opportunity, this trial, tribulation, time of testing and war between us and, you know, the saints and Satan's minions, the so-called elite that have been running our world and leading us into this new world order that, well, I've said before, they themselves have been sold a false narrative, a false dream, where obviously them and their families are being taken care of and it is a paradise for them, or else they wouldn't be doing it. If they knew that it was very anti-human and a horrible existence, as horrible as it literally can be, then they would not be signing up for it, because that's just stupid. If the sheeple really knew what plan Don Trump was telling them to trust, then they would not be trusting it. Do you trust the New World Order plan? Because I do not. I've known for a very long time now that their plans are anti-human, and they're going to depopulate the earth. And I mean, even the Georgia Guidestones talk about depopulation, in that the first rule is about maintaining the population of the earth and not going over it. So, yeah, the elites have a lot to symbols and things that they think are legitimate and that need to be done. Human sacrifices and whatever stupid things that they have been convinced of, because they have been convinced of a lot of stupid things. Anyways, so there's this really cute movie called The Book of Henry, and in this one scene, Henry and his mom and his brother are in a grocery store, and Henry looks over to see a guy roughing up his girl, and you can really tell that he wants to go and do something, but since he's a kid, he doesn't. Later in the movie, the mom and son are having a conversation, and Henry basically says, "That woman today at the grocery store, you didn't do anything to help her." His mom says, "I told you it just wasn't our business." Henry responds, "I think when someone hurts someone else, I think it is our business." The mom said, "Well, I know it seems that way, but there was nothing I could do." Henry responds, "Yeah, Mom, if everybody did that, then there would be no one to look out for the people who just can't look out for themselves. The mom says, "So what should I have done? I didn't want things to get violent." Henry says, "Violence isn't the worst thing in the world." Mom responds, "What is then?" And this wise kid says, "Apathy." Very powerful scene in the movie, and it has definitely made an impact on me. I've always been a voice for the voiceless and felt the need to speak up for those who can't, especially unborn children in the womb. I've always been very anti-abortion, and that led me ultimately to being vegan, wanting to be a voice for the voiceless and seeing so much injustice in the world, and knowing that I have a powerful voice and that I can use it to make a difference in the world. Other girls, they might have my looks and use them to try to get into modeling or any other type of waste of a life, but I am trying to use the talents and the gifts and looks that I have been given to make the world a better place and to change it for the better. I know that together we can truly manifest a dream world of beauty and really see some change. I want to see a world where humans and animals are free to live as God intended, where humans are free to live out their dreams and their passions, not having to worry about all of the nonsense that they have to worry about today, putting food on the table and making ends meet and all of that. So, yeah, together we can manifest that world, and that is why the powers that be are afraid of us. They want to stop us and keep us squabbling about anything that is not important rather than coming together and fighting against them. So hopefully people are starting to see through this, see through the Hegelian dialectic, see through the puppet show of the so-called elite, and see the truth. See the fact that we are able to manifest our reality, and together we are unstoppable.